All right, let's talk about LLMs. We've all seen the incredible things they can do, right? But there's this one massive, glaring problem. They know absolutely nothing about your world, your private data. So today, we're going to fix that. We're going to dive in and unlock how you can connect these powerful AIs to the stuff that actually matters to you. So here's the game plan. First, we'll pinpoint the exact problem we're trying to solve, the LLM's missing brain. Then I'll introduce you to our hero, LlamaIndex, and we'll see how it works under the hood. After that, the fun part, we'll build our first app together. And finally, we'll dream a little about what you're going to create with this new power. Okay, first up, the LLM's missing brain. I mean, think about it. These models are amazing, but they're basically frozen in time. They were trained on this huge chunk of the internet, but that's it. Their knowledge has a cutoff date. More importantly, they have no clue about your company's internal wiki, your latest project docs, or even your personal notes. They're clueless about your world. And this right here is the big question for us as developers, isn't it? How do you make a chatbot an expert on your company's documents? You've got this super smart general-purpose AI. How do you turn it into a specialist that knows your stuff inside and out? And crucially, how do you do it without spending a fortune and months retraining a whole model? That's the puzzle we need to solve. And that puzzle, its solution, is LlamaIndex. Honestly, the best analogy I've heard is that LlamaIndex is like a super smart, hyper-efficient librarian for your LLM. See, it's not trying to cram every book in your library into the LLM's head. No way. Instead, when the LLM gets a question, LlamaIndex dashes into the stacks, finds the exact right paragraph on the exact right page, and hands it over. It provides the perfect cheat sheet just in time.
Okay, so what is it technically? The official term is a data orchestration framework. Sounds a bit fancy, right? But all it really means is that it's the conductor of the orchestra. It handles the whole process, from pulling in your data, whether it's from PDFs or APIs, to structuring it so the LLM can make sense of it, and then serving it up at just the right time. The best part, it's open source and works with Python and TypeScript, so it's ready for pretty much any developer to pick up and use.
Right, so we know what it is, but how does it actually pull this off? Let's peek behind the curtain and look at the pipeline. Seriously, once you get this simple blueprint, you'll understand how to build almost anything with LlamaIndex. It's one of those things that's surprisingly straightforward, but has huge power.
It really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you load your data. LlamaIndex has these things called connectors that make it super easy to hook into pretty much anything. A folder full of PDFs, a database, an API, you name it. Step 2 is where the magic happens. You index it. This is where LlamaIndex reads all your stuff and creates this smart, searchable map. It turns your text into numbers or vectors so you can search by meaning and not just for specific words. Then finally, step 3, you query it. You just ask a question in plain English, and it uses that index to find the right context and give you a brilliant answer.
Okay, enough talk. Theory's great, but code is better. Let's actually build something right now. We're going to build a full Q&A app from scratch, and you're going to be shocked at how ridiculously simple it is. Seriously. Okay, first things first, we need to import our building blocks. We're grabbing 2 key things from LlamaIndex.core. First is Simple Directory Reader. Its name says it all. It's a super simple way to read a bunch of files from a folder. The second one, Vector Store Index, is the real powerhouse. This is the tool that's going to build that smart map, that external brain for our LLM. Step 2. Load the data. And check this out. It's literally 1 line of code. We just tell Simple Directory Reader to look in a folder named data, and then we call .loadData. That's it. LlamaIndex just goes in, grabs every file it recognizes, text files, PDFs, whatever, and pulls all that content into memory for us. So easy. Okay, now for the most important line. This is where the magic really happens. We're just telling Vector Store Index to build itself from the documents we just loaded. But what's happening behind the scenes here is incredible. LlamaIndex is taking all that text, chopping it into smaller pieces, and then using an AI model to turn each piece into a string of numbers, a vector. You can think of these vectors as coordinates in a giant map of ideas. Concepts that are similar end up close to each other on the map. This is the whole secret sauce. So our smart map, our index, is built, but we need a way to talk to it, right? We need our librarian. That's what this line does. Calling .as_query_engine on our index gives us back this engine. It's the interface that knows how to take our question, use it to search the index, find the best bits of information, and get it ready for the LLM. And finally, the moment of truth. We just call .query on our engine and ask a question, just like you'd type it into a search bar. The engine takes our question, turns that into a vector, and then finds the chunks of our original documents that are closest on that idea map. It grabs those chunks, bundles them up with our question, sends the whole package to the LLM and says, hey, answer this question using only this information. And boom, we get a perfect context-aware answer back. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Let that sink in. In 5 lines of code, we just built a complete retrieval-augmented generation pipeline. You'll hear that acronym, RAG, all the time. It's the gold standard for this stuff. We retrieve the data, augment the LLM's prompt with it, and let it generate an answer. This is the technique that makes these models actually useful for real-world business problems. And LlamaIndex just made it ridiculously easy. So that was pretty cool, right? But that simple example is just the tip of the iceberg. Now that you get the basic idea, load, index, query, let's look at what else you can do, because the toolkit is way deeper than just that.
So the vector store index we used is the go-to for most Q&A stuff, what we call semantic search. But what if you have a different goal? What if you just want a summary of all your documents? Well, for that, there's a list index. Or what if you just need to find documents with very specific keywords? There's a keyword table index for that. The point is, LlamaIndex isn't a one-trick pony. It gives you different types of indexes so you can pick the absolute best tool for whatever you're trying to build. So what does this all mean for you? What can you actually build with this? Well, how about a chatbot for your company that actually knows the HR policies? Or a Q&A tool for a super dense technical manual so you don't have to read all 500 pages? You could build an automated research assistant that reads academic papers for you, or even just a personal search engine for all your own notes. The possibilities here are frankly mind-blowing. So there you have it. We started with a problem, the LLM's missing brain, and we ended with a working 5-line solution. You now hold the blueprint. You know how to give an AI a custom brain, how to make it an expert on literally anything. So I'll leave you with this. You've seen the blueprint. What expert will you build first?